executive. So each year, you students, you elect one student to represent the rest of you as your class speaker. All right. Now, for the Executive Master of Business Administration program, the person that you have selected is Michael Smollett.
Mastered the tassels since earlier today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, parents, faculty, and most importantly, graduating students. My whole journey started slightly different to most, I guess, in that I was trying to engage with the school to put together an executive education program around the world for some of our employees who were working in various countries. And so I sat in on a couple of classes, and after one of the classes, one of the recruiters came to me and said, hey, have you ever thought about doing executive MBA? And the truth is I never had. The reason is that my first experience in university was horrific. And I swore that I would never ever go back to study. Now, the reasons it was so bad are probably all my fault, but one of the biggest reasons was, you see, where I used to live in Johannesburg, the university and the casino were almost next to each other on the freeway. And I realized quite quickly that it was far more lucrative to spend the days in the casino if the objective was to buy alcohol and cigarettes at night. Needless to say, it took me a very long time to finish my undergrad. The slightly less amusing and longer term damage was it completely shattered my academic confidence. It ruined It affected terribly relationships with my family that took years to rebuild. And so I swore I would never come back to a tertiary education institution. So when he said to me, have you ever thought about it, I literally got cold shivers. But I went home to talk to my wife, who is infinitely more academically decorated than I am. And I thought about it for a while. And when you come to a place like Holt, it feels different. It feels like it's modern, it's contemporary. The professors, the course material are all designed around today's leaders, today's problems, and creating solutions for the future. Even the physical campuses feel like a place you want to test yourself. You want to debate, you want to discuss, you want to trial and error. And this was really appealing for me. And so I applied to the school and was accepted to start with the Magnificent Sons cohort. On day one, we were put into these groups, and mine was called the Artichokes. Now, our task was to build the tallest structure possible out of marshmallows, spaghetti, and string. And if you've ever done this by yourself, you'll know it's pretty difficult. If you've ever done this as a team, it's impossible. In fact, I think our final submission was a marshmallow with a piece of spaghetti stuck in it, just because we had to submit something. The point of the exercise is to try and teach you that in a group, if you don't have cohesion, if you don't have a discussion about the direction before you execute it, nothing will work. Now, that was a great lesson, and I guess was preparing us for the next couple of months. But my lesson that day was far more profound, because I've never been in a group or in a team that hasn't been led or I haven't been leading. If you think about it in business or in sports, generally there's a leader of the group and they set the direction and everybody has input, and then you move forward. But this was the first group that everybody was the leader. And so I sat and was listening to the different ideas and the different thoughts and the different conclusions of these 5 people in the room with me. And they were so different to the way I thought. And I thought to myself, if I've learned this much from these 5 people in 1 hour, imagine the wealth of knowledge I can learn from the other 50 in 2 years. And that, for me, I think was the biggest learning, is how much, if you take a class of 50 people from 40 countries, different backgrounds and different experiences and different ages and different perspectives, if you sit and listen, and believe me, my class knows how difficult it is for me to sit quietly and listen. But if you sit and listen, which I try to do for 2 years, the wealth of knowledge in them is exceptional. I also think we owe a bit of a debt of gratitude to a woman in our class, and she will remain nameless, but everyone who was late on a Saturday morning continually will know who I'm talking about. She took on the mantle of Mistress of Fun, which I can assure you was not a fun job to take, but what it did is it sandwiched us together as friends from literally the first weekend. And what that meant is we could go deeper together. We could critically construct, we could give each other constructive criticism. We could debate and we could argue and we could push each other. We were always friends through the course because we spent time together at night and we decompressed. And I think that allowed us as a group to be so cohesive, and it allowed us to really extract the best out of it. And I've been privileged enough to be at a number of the different campuses around the world, and I have yet to find a group of students who are this cohesive and this strong together. So I think that's a fantastic thing. We were lucky enough. The last couple of weeks I've been traveling in the United States with my wife and my baby. And as we do, I've been watching the, I guess, circus that is the American elections. And it started to dawn on me that the world is desperate for leadership. If you look at what's happening with the elections, if you look at South America and Brazil and Venezuela, if you look at Brexit, if you look at the Middle East, if you look at my home country of South Africa, the world is starved for all-inclusive, in touch with the people leadership. It may be political, it may be social, it may be in business. And there's a great misconception about leadership, that you need to be in a position of power or influence to be a leader. And that's completely untrue. Anybody can lead. Anybody of any age, in any position, in any society in the world can be a leader. The other great fallacy is that external leadership is more powerful than internal leadership. And that's also untrue. To be a leader of yourself is a tremendously powerful thing. You don't have to be leading people to be a leader. Nelson Mandela has this great quote that is, education is the greatest weapon that you have to change the world. And if I think over the last 2 years, the amount of sacrifice and time and effort and planning and coordination to try and manage a family and a job and living in China, which everybody knows is interesting. It's a massive amount of work. And I can only believe that over this time, we were being formed and pushed, we were creating visions, we were developing skills, and we were becoming better leaders. I'm so proud to see the change in my class, how they've grown as people, as leaders, and I just hope they see some of it in me. So my dad has this good saying, that is, if you're green, you grow, and if you're ripe, you rot. What it means is that if you're learning, you're growing, you're alive. And when you stop learning, you start to die. And I didn't really realize how profound it was until I started at Holt. And so I want to thank the school, and thank the professors, for reigniting me the passion to learn. For reigniting me a journey I believe may have started with a 2-year part, but I truly hope it'll last the rest of my life. I also want to thank my classmates. The debt of gratitude I owe you, what I've learned from you, what I've learned about myself over the last 2 years, I cannot express. I hope you sit back today proud of yourself and think just for a moment what you had to give up to achieve what you're sitting here today for. And I hope you think about that and smile to yourself quietly, because each of you should be incredibly proud of the people you are today. It is an honor to have taken this journey for you. And these 2 years of my life have fundamentally changed the trajectory of who I am as a human being. Thank you, and thank you. It is now my privilege to be able to announce the Faculty of the Year on behalf of the Executive MBAs. This is voted for by all of the Executive MBAs around the world. And the winner of the Professor of the Year is Mufid Rawashne. Mufid is actually based in our Dubai campus, unfortunately not here obviously with us, but we send congratulations, and he's thanks for the mark he's made upon all of us. I'd now like to turn the stage over to the class speaker of the Master of Business Administration, Israel Latham.